Do you celebrate the small steps you take to crush your anxiety or OCD? It's super important. We're going to talk all about it. Stay tuned. That's what's up next. Hi, my name is Natasha Daniels. I'm a therapist and I make videos for people with anxiety or OCD. And I want to talk to you today about a really important aspect that most people don't do when they're trying to deal with their anxiety and OCD. And that is to celebrate their small successes. I'm going to tell you why that's so important, not just because it feels good, but how it will actually help your long-term success. But before we get started, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified when I make new videos, which are every Thursday. So why would it be great to celebrate a small win? Well, one, it does feel good, right? So that's an important aspect. But mindset, how you view and you perceive your problems, is a much bigger aspect to your battle, to your struggle, than a lot of people give credit. Because when we have a positive perspective and when we empower ourselves and cheerlead ourselves and say, oh my gosh, you just touched that, or you just did that, or you didn't avoid that, and we like cheerlead on the side in our head, the more hopeful we become and the more likely we are to take another step. Think about it. If you've ever had a teacher or a boss who is negative, right? And it's never enough, right? Or even a parent or a relative where they're like, yeah, you did that, but, don't you hate that, the but, you didn't clean the whole dishes, or you didn't do the whole assignment, or, you handed it in late, or whatever it is. That but on the end of a sentence, does that motivate you? Does it make you feel inspired? Or you're like, I'm going to do so much more work around the house, or I'm going to knock the next assignment out of the park, or I'm going to work really hard for this person because they obviously appreciate me. Not, right? No. It makes you feel discouraged. It shuts you down. Why do we see that for other things outside of us, but we don't see that for ourselves? How you talk to yourself will motivate you or will deflate you. It will give you hope or it will foster hopelessness. And that is a legitimate thing. It's not just a, feel-good, cheesy thing to say. It will impact how well you do in making anxiety and OCD tiny and not a big part of your life. And so a lot of times you might do something small, like maybe, you have a hard time going to school and you go to school, but you can't make it throughout the day. And you think, well, that was a failure. I didn't make it throughout the day. Or maybe you can't make it to school or you can't make it to work, but you get out of bed. And for the first time in a long time, you are able to get out of bed and make breakfast. But you think, well, I didn't go to school or work, so that's a failure. No. Maybe the day before you couldn't even get out of bed. Or maybe the day before you couldn't even get to school and you got to like third period. Or maybe you got to work, but you had to leave half the day. It's different for everyone. So I'm giving you examples that may not relate to you. But the whole point is we don't celebrate often the small wins, the small successes. So I want you to ask yourself, what's one small thing you did today that you couldn't do maybe yesterday or last week or last month or last year or last decade, whatever, however old you are? Because we want to recognize our progress. And yes, you will hit bumps. And yes, you will go backwards. But that doesn't take away all the wins and successes that you've had. Anxiety and OCD go like this. It goes back and forth. But you're building your muscles, you're building your skills and your success as you do that. Even when you go backwards, you will go forwards quicker because those skills and the work that you've done in the past is still there. It's just, you took a backslide and that's okay. So even when you are hitting a bump, even when you're having a hard time, you want to ask yourself, what am I doing today that's out of my comfort zone? What am I doing today that is causing me a little bit of discomfort? And what can I do today that will cause me a little bit of discomfort? Walking towards my fear or towards my discomfort, even just a little bit. And then when I do that, I'm going to celebrate that. I'm going to do a happy dance in my room. Maybe I'm going to do a happy dance around my house. Maybe I'm going to write it down. Maybe I'm going to get a whiteboard that says, these are all my wins. And I'm going to write down what I do each day so I remember. Maybe I'm going to record it on my phone. Maybe I'm going to send myself a text message that says, you knocked it out of the park today, right? You're amazing. I know that sounds stupid, but actually, when you become your own positive voice, because you definitely have the negative voice, right? I mean, if you have anxiety or OCD, you have that negative voice in your head that says, you're messing up, or you did this, or you did that wrong, or you should worry about this, you should worry about that. That voice is very loud. How about the cheerleader voice? Do you have one? Is there even one in your head? You have to develop it. You have to nurture it. You have to create it. It's not going to just automatically pop up. Most people don't have that. And so I'm asking you, or I'm recommending to you, that you develop and nurture that voice that says, you're killing it today. You know what? Maybe other people don't recognize this, but you just did something that was hard for you. And so I'm proud of you. Try it. Try it. And try to find a way that you can incorporate that in your daily activities, a way that you maybe sit and recognize something or some things that you've done today that were a small step towards your fear or towards your discomfort and away from anxiety and OCD. And honor that, whether you can write it down or you can just tell it to yourself. That's going to give you hope. And when you get hope, you're going to show up and do more hard things. And when you show up and do more hard things, more difficult things that are walking towards your fear, towards your discomfort, you're going to make progress. Because the more things that you do over time will lead to bigger success. And you're training your brain that I can do difficult things. I can do things that make me uncomfortable. I can do things that cause me fear, and I'm still okay. And so when your brain starts to get trained that way, and it doesn't happen overnight, it goes with those little small steps, your long-term success will be much better than the person who is yelling at themselves, telling themselves that they haven't done enough, and not celebrating at all. So get your party pants on and start celebrating. And I'll talk to you next Thursday. Take care.